Okay. Welcome to Basketball Club's International Courtside Live. I'm your host, Adrian Branch. BCI's PSL is a series of real-time, online interactive public events that connect professional basketball players to fans and youth around the world. This event features unprecedented access to players about both the practical and spiritual aspects of life in sports. Thanks to Athletes in Action for collaborating with the CSL event. You can check out their website at www.athletesinaction.org. We're happy to host BCI Courtside Live via Facebook Live using Blue Jeans on social media. Joining us tonight is a host of stars. Got a chance to talk to them a little bit. You're going to be impressed with these folks. Lamone Lampley, the shortest one on our table here, guys. Just kidding. He's 7 feet tall. Big fella. Was selected second round in the 1986 draft by the Seattle Supersonics out of DePaul University. After completing his professional basketball career in Europe in the late 90s, he returned to his alma mater, DePaul, as the Director of Development for Athletics. Following over a decade in that role, Lamone has sought his passion, which starts a wonderful nonprofit organization called MOCA, M-O-C-C-H-A, Men of Color Connected for a Higher Achievement, in March of 2015. This organization has been doing some fantastic work, and we're going to be hearing about this. So I'm so excited to have the big fella here. How about this? I call this my 6 degrees of separation. Coach Walter Webb, my homeboy. I'm talking about neighbor homeboy back in the Washington, D.C. area. Coach Walt is the founder and CEO of Slam City Management Group. After playing his college basketball at Virginia Union and Ferrum College, he played semi-pro basketball in China. His love for the game continued and began in his high school level at Riverdale Baptist in Upper Marlboro, personally down the street from my house, my mom's house. And Coach Webb then moved to build 2 nationally recognized prep schools, Coastal Christian Academy in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and Cornerstone Christian School in San Antonio. As a coach, he's won boys and won girls national championship during his career in coaching prep. He developed 2 teams. Each has managed to obtain a record of 685 wins and only 35 losses. He was recognized in 2007 as the National Coach of the Year. Several years ago, Coach Webb moved back home. So from San Antonio, moved back home to the DMV, Northern Virginia, making it the new headquarters for Slam City Management Group, which focuses on year-round training with basketball, AAU, and elite events and tournaments. And currently, how about this? This is impressive. His 7th grade elite boys team is ranked number 1 in the nation, and Slam City's 8th grade team is number 3. Coach Webb has experienced rapid growth and success in the DMV. So welcome, Coach. We're happy to have you here. Then we got the family connection. We got a lot of family right here. How about Ralph? Biggest guy here, 6'7", got a good player. Currently a junior at John Champ High School and plays varsity basketball under Coach Webb. He's the 3rd child and 2 older sisters who play Division I. His hobbies include reading the Word of God, I like that one, soccer, gaming, editing videos, and working out. Ralph describes himself as a Christian student athlete that loves to serve Jesus Christ. Welcome, Ralph. That is impressive. Ralph, did I say that name right? Is it Champ or Champe?
Champ.
All right, Champ. Here we go. Champ. Yeah. Only thing I'm allergic to is losing. So we got the right name. All right, Champ. And then how about this? Andrew Nguyen plays basketball at Seton Hall. 1 of 5 children. He's got his 2 younger brothers here and is part of Slam City's program. He recently reached the 1,000-point milestone. He says his basketball game means so much and always been a challenge to be a better player in person. Has no fear, and it's only because of his trust in God. This senior is gifted and talented and says that God allows him to be confident on the court. So welcome, Andrew. Boy, that's impressive. How about his younger brother, Patrick? Patrick plays also at Seton High School in Manassas and credits his ability to get through the ups and downs on the basketball court, focusing on understanding that not what he's doing, but it's a greater force in him. And it's to the honor and glory of God. And he's blessed to have his talents on the basketball court with his family. And then Dominic, the youngest one here, also plays basketball at Seton High School in Manassas and also at Slam City with his brothers. He said, I played basketball my whole life, and I always pray before I play and ask God to help me. Man, that's impressive. Welcome, brothers. We're looking forward to hearing from you. And then finally, James Wright. We got James here. And James is an 11th grader at Trinity Christian School and lives in Oakton. He plays basketball in a 6'4" guard. That's impressive. And has been associated with Slam City for the past 4 years. James is interested in biblical studies and anthropology and design, regardless of his path. James seeks out God's calling throughout his life. Wow. Everybody, welcome. We'll get right into it. So excited about it. Let me ask the first question for Coach Walt, my homeboy. Coach, we were talking with your guys a little bit and did a fun exercise with attitude, did a fun exercise with pride and onion and sin, and one thing about all of those things that it had the I right in the middle of it, which causes a lot of problem with self. So let's get right into it. And I'd love to ask you, tell us something that's right with sports and tell us something that's been a challenge that we as adults or we in the sporting world can get better at. So let's start with a celebratory point. What's something that sports is doing right in your own opinion?
I think sports right now, it's giving, the elite athlete, it's giving the fan, it's also giving opportunity for kids to understand if they can't play the sport, they can stay attached to the sport and still show different levels. You have with the junior NBA that I'm with, we have the Her Time to Play initiative. You have young ladies not just trying to play, but also trying to become the next Hannah Storm. You have guys trying to be the next Brian Gumble. Even you're attached to the game and you're still doing ESPN right now. So with the teaching young people that the ball will stop bouncing at some given point in time, but still being attached to the game, I think that there's a lot of opportunity that sports is showing young people, in the event that they can't continue to play at the elite level, they can still be involved and still show their love in the sport. So I think the opportunities that sports outlets are giving right now is exceptional for young people to have other avenues to look at.
I love that. Give us a point that needs to get better. I love that point where you said where they could be coaches, they could be commentators, you could be a manager, you could be a video coordinator and stay attached to that. So well done. That is a great point. I'm going to remember that on my next broadcast at ESPN. Sure. So thanks for my homework.
Sure. No.
Tell us something that we should get better at in the sporting community. What's a blind spot?
Yeah, I think the blind spot is, it's a few of them, that I see quite a bit. It's the one that kind of sticks out is, win at all costs. I think that when you focus on winning, development goes out the window because losing is a big part of your development and learning how to win. You got to learn how to lose before you learn how to win. And then, it really, just no development, no practice. There's a book, 1,000 Hours. You can't hit a hole in one and think you're ready for the PGA Tour. You can't, hit a game-winning shot and think that you're the best shooter in the league or your team. There's hours and hours that goes into, being a solid player. So I think, people not practicing, AAU teams just popping up overnight, kids transferring from team to team, not really putting any real emphasis on overcoming adversity, putting time into practice, relationships, like you had at DeMatha, the brotherhood that everybody talks about at Duke now, that, that if every successful program that's there. And I think that the things that are being taught at the foundation level, at the grassroots level to help people have it.
I like
experience.
that. You know what? Let me jump in there and ask
Yeah.
Lamone. Well, I want to ask you the same question, and I'm looking forward to hearing about Mocha and its genesis. But let me ask you before I hit that one. Let me go back for a second. Where'd you get the height from? 7 feet, mom or dad? And the unique name. You and I played overseas before, so Lamone. So where's the unique name Lamone from? And who'd you get the height from? Mom or dad? What side of the family?
So my height actually comes from my dad's side of the family. My dad is actually 6'6", and so it's me and four brothers, and then I also have a sister. But most of my brothers are at least 6'4" or taller. I am the tallest boy or young man from the family, and so it definitely comes from my father's side of the family. And then the other question you asked about the name,
Yeah.
my dad named me Lamone. I don't know the real history behind that, other than it's a French name, and it has something related to do with warrior. So I think that's a good point. But other than that, I don't really understand why I have the unique name, but I have embraced it, and it's been a blessing to have it.
Well, how many times has people misspelled it on the first time? That's all I want to know.
It's pronounced Lamone, so a lot of people spell it L-A, but the actual correct spelling is Lemone. So I had a
Well,
lot
you
of people
around the way in the hood, you know the hood don't get much right, so they're gonna add a little swag to it.
grew up in the hood, Adrian. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
so people, they knew the name and they were able to pronounce it correctly, but the spelling sometimes a little bit odd.
Good beat up. Hey, coach, what is something that you love about sports? And you were able to play it at the highest level. And I actually saw you when I was playing in Monaco. We had they have the friendly match games. That's not a regular scheduled game. It's a scrimmage game. And Coach Walt, when I saw Lamone, I said, man, he's the biggest guy I've ever seen in my life because he was long. I'm 6'8" with shoes on, but he was a long joker over in his and rolling. But what is something, in your opinion, that we've done right in the sporting world? What's something we need to get better at before we speak to these players?
For me, I think specifically professionally, I think you've seen over the last 2 years that professionally we've been able to use our platform to get across some issues that we're really dealing with in the community. I think the social injustice piece you saw, in the NBA bubble last year, a lot of players were sporting names, it was for Black Lives Matter or was dealing with social unrest that we've seen throughout the community over the last few years. So I think the platform has been great. I think there are a lot of good transformable things from sports to real life. I think working hard as a team, realizing that there are going to be some wins and losses throughout your life, but you can still recover. You can still come back the next day and do better. So I think sports gives us a genuine opportunity to really come together as a group, which you've been really kind of preaching before we even got on the air about the importance of being a team versus just individuals. So I've learned a lot of good things by participating in sports, working hard. You have to continue to work hard at your craft if you want to get better. And then some of the things that I think that are lacking specifically for our college athletes and even our professional athletes, I think that we need to be better prepared for life after the game, because I think, as we often see, you make a lot of money in a short period of time and then you're out the league, whether it's due to an injury or,
Uh-huh.
your skills have just regressed. And the next thing you know, you're out into society, and a lot of our players end up, being not having a lot of money financially and, not having careers. So I think that we need to do a better job of preparing our student athletes, whether it's at the high school or collegiate or even the professional level, for what we're going to do after like you said, the ball stops bouncing. We need to better prepare our athletes for real life after the game.
I like that one. So let me ask our athletes. Ralph, let me start with you. And I love just saying Ralphie Ralph. So let me just be comfortable. So Ralphie Ralph, I hear this one. In all of you guys' bio, it talked unashamedly about the presence of God. And it was nice and loud. So let me ask you this one. How was faith at such a young age so important to you, and you not being ashamed of that, if I can ask?
Well, at the end of the day, the only person that can judge me is God. So a lot of people's opinions doesn't correspond with how I go on with my day. They talk and I just block it out because I know the only person that can judge me at the end of the day is just God. So
Well, let me ask you this one because nowadays, like when uh, Mr. Lampley, our era, and even Coach Webb, we didn't have the social media that you guys have. So if somebody gets dunked on, they're making a mime or they're laughing. How do you push through a bad performance or uneven performance, or even if you're in a slump? How do you push through that if your neighbors or your friends are talking or laughing about that? What do you do to push through that?
I just pray and then I go back into the lab and work even harder on any areas of my game that I lack that certain game,
Hmm.
and then just come back the next time 10 times harder.
I got that one. I like that one. Tell us this one. Then I want to ask Andrew a question with that. Chosen Ram. I like that one. What is that about?
So I was blessed. I talked to God and we had a conversation and he was just telling me how I was chosen and he pointed out in certain areas of my life. And Ram is actually my initials, Ralph Anthony Martino. And I just
Wow.
put chosen and Ram.
Wow. I like that one. I like that one. There we go. I will say, with much to whom much is given, much is also required. So now that you are gifted and talented, you don't have to apologize for that, but you got to be responsible. So fan that gift into a flame. Don't be ashamed of that one. All right, let me talk to our point guard because I love shooting. I know Lamone loved getting those drop offs for the dunks. I love shooting, and well, I would have been a good teammate of yours. I'm ready to lock and load. So let me talk to my point guard, Andrew. Who are you, man? If somebody were to ask you, you're a senior, come from a beautiful family, have your head screwed on, trying to be an example. Who is Andrew?
I just try and be a good man and a good example for others by know, love, and serving God. I feel like, especially as young people, that if we show, if we're not scared of what other people think of us or we live out our faith, it's a good example to other people, especially older people, younger people, that we're young, but we can still live out our faith and not be ashamed of it.
I like what Coach said, man. You had good body language. What's that about? Because, man, if I wasn't getting my numbers, if I wasn't getting my shot, my body language was off. I was like, man, whatever. I'm waiting till play me or trade me. That takes a lot of discipline. What is that born out of that you can keep your poise if something is falling apart around you?
Yeah, I mean, through the highs and lows of the game, that if you're a leader out there, your team looks up to you. Whether I'm not getting my shots, they're not falling. Everybody else looks up to me, and it's up to you as a leader to keep the energy positive on your team.
All right. So Patrick, what is it? You're the youngest one here. Tell us something. What keeps your compass pointed north? Yeah, I heard also where God is important to you, and we talked about Dr. James Naismith invented the game of basketball to encourage athletes and a message of hope, just like we're doing at this BCI chat. How do you keep your compass pointed north as an eighth grader?
I'm actually a sophomore, but
Oh, which one is the eighth grader? There's so many of y'all, man. I'm thinking I'm talking to the Waltons. So, all right. So, my sophomore, how do you keep your compass pointed north? Staying
by just
positive.
by just staying positive, putting all my trust in God, and really working hard to try to catch my older brothers.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go with Dom. Dom, so you the baby of the bunch right here at this table. What do you do to try to keep yourself from being full of yourself, full of that pride, being like that onion with that eye in the middle?
I just work hard and try and be the best on the court whenever I'm playing.
Okay, so I'm hearing that same thing. James, you have been the longest serving with Coach. What have you learned under your program? Why do you keep coming back? What's believable about Coach and about that program with Slam City?
Yeah, well, I love how basketball just brings people together, and Slam City is definitely a place that brings a lot of people together. Doesn't matter, where you're from, what you look like, just basketball. So I love how it does that, but also it's unashamedly a faith-based organization. And I say the biggest thing I've probably taken away from being with Slam City is, I mean, staying hungry and humble, but just being grateful. And I think, I mean, to have a good attitude and be grateful is really
All right.
just the beginning of a lot of things. Yeah.
So I want to go out. What so far has been you guys' best moment in sports, like scoring 30 points or something? So let's start with you, James. What has been your best moment in sports so far, or best accomplishment? And you can be a little selfish on this one. So what has been your highlight moment?
Oh man, that's a tough question.
Oh, it's been so many of them, huh? You got it like that. Okay. Well, man got game. Hey, Lamone,
Um,
man got game. There's so many of them.
I say, I think it was last year we played a school that I, I think it was a school, but no one thought we were gonna win it. Um, like our school, everyone thought we wasn't gonna win it, but I mean, just the feeling of just like the team and the guys coming together, blocking out the noise and just winning the game. I'd probably say.
So it was at their place on the
No,
road?
it was at home. It was at home.
Okay. That was a
Yeah,
huge win. Ralph, what was
yeah.
yours? What was your biggest moment that your basketball moment? You on speak, you on mute. What's your biggest basketball moment that you still enjoy?
That's a good question.
I'm gonna come back to you.
Probably.
I'll warm you up. I'm gonna come back to you. Coach, go
Okay.
back to your put your hat on, either McNamara, Ferrum, Virginia, Union. What was your moment?
Probably when I was at Ferrum, we, were playing against UNC Greensboro, um, and I was having a bad game, and I just at the end of the game, everybody else was doing their part. I wasn't contributing offensively, but I was able to, in the open court, get a charge that fouled out their leading scorer. Um, and that was what I was most proudest about in my college career because it led us to winning the Dixie Conference Championship. So
Oh, I like
it was a
that one.
defensive play, not an offensive play, but it was
Okay,
in the
I'll go
midst
with
of
that one. I'll go with that.
yeah, yeah.
Lamone, what was yours? And probably y'all won y'all last 5 out of 7 your senior year, got to a Sweet 16. I'm
Oh, you
aware of that one. What was your moment?
well, that ranks right up there. But I think my sophomore year, I still remember Georgetown came to the All-State Arena here in Chicagoland area, and they were ranked fourth. I think we were probably 10th or 11th, and they came in with the heralded, obviously, Patrick Ewing. They had a great squad. We got a win out of there, 63-61. And I remember I didn't play much in that game, but a couple of our centers got in trouble, and I was called in kind of a last throw in at the moment, and got a couple key blocks and a huge jump shot from the corner to tie the game up against Georgetown. So that moment still sticks with me. I still remember the score.
I remember that one. Let me say I hate you because I'm a year ahead of you. I remember that. Georgetown was my team from DC. I actually remember that game. I was mad at you guys on that one. That was a good call. Hey, you know what, guys? You talking about a center. Mine was Virginia, UVA, Ralph Sampson, 7'4", #1 player in the nation. It's overtime. I'm a freshman, linked into him. Time running out, 2 seconds left. Bang! Hit the game winner, sent the #1 team in the nation home with a loss. That I still remember that one. Now I'm going to go somewhere else with that one. But Ralph, so that's what we're talking about. What was your big success moment that you enjoyed that you still remember?
I'd say facing a lot of adversity during the fall league and being able to dial in during playoffs and be able to take the championship home after
Wow.
being the underdog.
Wow. This past year?
Yes, sir, a couple months ago.
Wow. Congratulations. Congratulations. Who had not asked? Dominic, what is your moment?
I would say over this last summer, I had my first 30-point game. I had 31 points, and I hit the game-winning shot.
That's what I'm talking about. How many shots did it take to get 30? You weren't Allen Iverson, where you didn't get 30 shots to get 30 points, were you?
No, I wasn't that many.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm talking about. Who didn't I ask? Patrick, what was your moment? What was your moment that you celebrated? And I'm going somewhere off of this one, guys. We're going to go somewhere off of this one.
Probably during my first varsity game as an eighth grader, I came around a screen and got the switch on their big man who was like 6'8", 6'10", and I went right over him and just laid it up.
Ooh, kind of sweet. And you were a freshman?
I was an eighth grader.
Oh, eighth grader, Lord. That's kind of nice. All right, now let's flip it. Be vulnerable, guys. Be vulnerable. What was your most embarrassing moment? I've had a few. Most embarrassing. I'm gonna take you back. I'm gonna start it. If we're going somewhere. So my most successful moment was that game-winning shot against Ralph Sampson, number one team in the nation, my freshman year at University of Maryland. My most embarrassing moment, there was a few of them. I'm playing in Geelong, Australia. It's an overtime game. I back my man down because I'm their leading scorer and I'm their import player. Back my man down, and instead of shooting the game winner, I throw the ball in the corner and nobody is there. We lose the game. The crowd is booing the American. You're talking about an embarrassing moment. And I still remember that today over in Australia where I played for 3 years. I backed it down. I had an open lane too because I could have shot over him and threw the ball in the corner from, imagine, the top of the key, threw it to the left corner. Nobody there. My home crowd boos me out of the gym. I will say that's the year I became a believer too. Coach Lamar, what was your most embarrassing moment?
Well, it was. I'm sure I've had a lot of, but I remember we were playing Cleveland State, and Cleveland State wasn't even ranked. They had I don't know if you remember, they had a guy on that team, Mouse McFadden.
Mouse McFadden, we played Mouse. Yeah, come on now.
Came into Allstate Arena, man. They had us down maybe about 22 or 23 points in the first half, and we come into the locker room, and Coach Ray Meyer, who was well-known coach,
Legend.
a legend in college basketball at the time. And he just looks at the whole team and say, "You guys have just cost the university $100,000." Because we lost to that team, but they came in on fire, man. And we just had a bad game. And I remember, like I said, it was just not personally, but as a team, we were down maybe 18, 19, 20 points at half. We were shocked. I mean, Cleveland State, they went on and had a great season.
We played them that year, Coach. They were nice. We played them the year before with Mouse. They were nice.
But that was an interesting time. I think we got booed pretty bad because we ended up losing that game, and Coach Ray was just irate about how we played that game. Man. I still remember that as well.
James, what was your most embarrassing moment?
The first one that comes to mind was actually, I think it was on last Saturday. We had a Christmas tournament at our school. Like, it was like 2 games. And it was a pretty good team, but like we were like neck and neck the whole way. I played pretty well. I hit a few threes to keep us in the game, but we were down 1 point with like 11 seconds left, and then Coach drew up an inbound play for me. We do that at Slam City a lot, actually. As you know, I told him to draw it up.
Oh, okay.
The big man seals at the elbow. I'm throwing it from the sideline. I throw it into him and I cut back door. Open layup. He was on my hip, but I missed it. Yeah.
Ooh, a wide open layup?
It wasn't wide open. The dude was on my hip and he smacked the backboard, but it wasn't like I should have made it.
Makeable shot. Coach Webb, what was yours, man? What got you that you still remember?
Yeah, so 3 seconds left to go in the game down there at Campbell University on the road. Big win for us if we could pull it off. We're up 2, and Coach made it clear, don't give up any threes. Point guard gets beat, and just instinctively, I went to go help. And as soon as I went to go help, he made a pass, and I knew it was going in straight to my man like clockwork. And I let the team down. We lose by 1.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so here we go. Andrew, Andrew, Patrick, and Dominic. What was your moment that you still remember where you just came up short?
So it was last year, my junior year. We were playing It was like the first quarter of a game, and I was like one bucket away from getting 1,000. So my coach pulled me aside and he said, "You got the green light." And so my teammates were like, "All right, we're going to screen for you." So I came off a screen and it was deep, but I lost the ball, but still shot it just because I wanted to shoot it. And I was like, "Oh, that's going right." It went way right, all glass. And so the other team's going down, and I go down. I'm trying to stop the break. I slip right over, just slip right on the court, and they just got a wide open layup.
Wow.
That was a moment.
Really
Patrick, what
perfect.
was your moment? What was your moment, sir?
It was in a scrimmage earlier this year. We had a lot of people there, and it was opening play. I stole the ball, and I was going down, and I went up to dunk it with two hands, and I completely lost the ball, and it just went flying like off the bottom of the rim.
Oh yeah, Shaq and the Fool. Shaq would have loved that moment. Shaq would have loved that one. Dominic, bring this home. We're gonna flip the switch.
Mine's probably about a couple weeks ago. It's like my fourth game on varsity as an eighth grader, and I had a wide open fast break, and I went to dunk it, and I just missed.
Uh, Happened to me my sophomore year at DeMatha. Got hung on the rim. I'm playing the varsity my first year. Going in, I'm left-handed, and the rim hung me. I was on TV. They showed it on the news. Said, "Look at this clown." All right, so put your coach's hat on. Lamone, you heard everybody come up short. What would you say to us? What would you say to these young guys? How do you keep it? And it looks like they're well measured. But when you're alone, what would your self-talk be? What would you say to us if you had your coach's hat on?
Well, specifically concerning the round of questions we just talked about in regards to what was our most fatal moment or embarrassing moment. I think the game of basketball, or just not the game of basketball itself, but sports in general, gives you an opportunity to come back and redeem yourself. And I think that's one of the great things about the sport or sports itself. You always can get better. You always can learn from your mistakes. And, like I said, I enjoyed, playing the game of basketball. The game of basketball was good to me. It gave me an opportunity to earn a scholarship, which, coming out of the south side of Chicago, my parents were in no way financially in a position to allow me to go to a Division I school. So to have an opportunity to play at the Division I level, earn a scholarship, and then, thankfully, with the grace of God, I was able to play professionally 8 or 9 years, which gave me an opportunity to earn income, for my family. So I just think that sports does so many things, or it allows you the opportunity to do so many things. In addition to the great people that you are able to meet, I think connections and networks are super important while you're playing the game, because you never know when, like I said, the game is going to stop for you. But, thankfully, you can always fall back on your education. You can fall back on those networks, the people that you've met, throughout the time that you've played the sport. And it can be a blessing. So I enjoy being on this chat today. I want to commend the young men for what they've done and they've accomplished in their short period of time. If you continue to work on your craft, I think you can continue to get better, not just athletically, but academically, socially. I think so. I just think sports gives you a great opportunity to really flourish in life. And like Adrian said earlier, and Coach Webb, at some point, the game will end for you, for some earlier, for some later, but you always have great memories. And I think that's what we're all enjoying tonight, being able to look back and reflect upon the good things and even some of the bad moments that we had in sports, but know that the game is never really over. You can come back and you can perform at a higher level.
I love that one. Coach, I know they hear from you a lot when they're around you. Put your coach's hat on. We all fell. We all had a blooper. 1,000 points came up short. I ain't asked Ralphie Ralph. Ralph, what was your moment? Coming back to you. What was your moment, Ralphie Ralph?
I'd say first varsity game. Came in against this big team. They had me guarding the center. So I was in the paint. And then I got a mean elbow. And I went flying the baseline. And then after that, I went down the court and shot an air ball. and then touch it. Yeah, so.
I love it. All right, so there we go. So, Coach, you got our lineup. I threw the ball away. Lamone cost his team $100,000, losing to a team they should have won. We did that against Penn State, Maryland. We had that one with Lynn Byers. Andrew had 1,000 points. Patrick got hung on the rim. Dominic as well, his first year. What do you say to us when we had these bloopers? And you blew the game when your guy hit the shot at Campbell.
Yeah.
Put your coach's hat on. What do you say to us?
First thing is it's you move on. What I try to encourage the kids today is, short-term memory. But, just learn from the journey, the mistakes, the experience, the in-game experience. It's first time you've seen it, first time you've gone through it. Now you understand it moving forward. And that's part of being a student of the game. You know what I mean? Whether it's an air ball, missed shot, you're only as good as your next shot, even if you made your last shot. As far as possessions, just staying alert. And paying attention and just learning and being observant. Good play, not good play, bad play. I forgot to play, my fault on that play.
Yeah.
How consistent can you be? And those are the things that I just try to make sure that I teach our kids. That game that I actually, left my man open, and they hit the game winning shot. The next night we played Maryville. And I led the team in scoring. And it was because of my coach. He said, we believe in you, we trust in you. And I know that you've learned from this. And I was able to go into the next game, not looking in the rearview mirror. So, it's look forward to, and make sure that you just bring your best every night. Every play.
Oh, I like that one, Coach. You make sense, man. God dang, I'm ready. I'm ready to get in the defensive stance, and it's over. I'm 58, so I'm fired up from what you're saying. I will say this, and then I want to open it up to the guys to ask Lamone, what would you say to a pro player? Any questions for him, myself, or even Coach Walt? But what you just said, Coach. Next play, on to the next one. Keep your head up. ESPN tells us this, because I'm privileged to work at my 15th year with ESPN. In fact, this is my home studio right here. If y'all need a book to read, this is going to be on TV next week, all right? So don't worry. All my books right here. I got them on e-print on my cell phone.
Right.
But ESPN tells us this. It says, be curious. Talk about DePaul, Maryland, UCLA, North Carolina, Duke. Talk about them. Be curious. Talk about them like you've never heard of them before. And I heard that advice about 6 or 7 years ago, and I thought that was brilliant. And I've actually tried to take that to every dimension of my life, off the court, with my wife, with my children, with my health, with my diet. Let me be curious, and it's 1,000 first dates. Let me talk the game of basketball like I never heard of it before, because you might pick up something. And I would say that to you guys, you young players. Man, be curious every day. Go at your craft like Coach Webb said, 10,000 hours. Go at your craft like you've never heard of it before, because you'll pick up something that you may miss. Now, I want to throw it out there to the players. This is, what question would you have for a pro player? What question would you have for Lamone, James, Andrew, Dominic, Patrick, Ralph? What would you have question or you would love to ask a pro? I'm going to throw it out there for you guys. So go as you feel.
I got a lot. I say, was there anything you were doing that you didn't see anyone else doing that I feel like was a key to your success or getting to where you wanted to
Great
achieve
question. Lamone, you want to answer that first?
Yeah, I think preparation is super important. One of the things that my first year, when I got drafted by Seattle, I was obviously excited and thought I worked out and thought I was in great preparation for the camp. I got to Seattle. We had like a 2-week camp, no air conditioning, nothing. And I mean, they ran us, man, like I had never been run before, man. And I can still remember it. We had a guy, I don't know if you know him, Adrian Brandt, they call him Mad Dog Carter, Fred Carter.
Oh,
We
please. Fred was my coach in the NBA tryouts. I hated Fred. Fred was tough as nails. Coach
you
Webb, he was no joke. He was an unhappy American. That's what he was. He was just an unhappy dude. Uh-huh.
Look, we had that 2 week camp, mini camp in Seattle, man. Like I said, with no air conditioning, and I can remember as one practice, man, and I was looking around at people. It was one of the not very. It was a rare occasion when we had a break, and I was looking around and I was just dripping in sweat, man, and my shoes, my every ounce of my body was just dripping in sweat. And I was looking around at everybody trying to see, am I the only one out of shape? And I asked myself at that point, do I really want it? Because
Yeah.
when you see the professional life, you see the women, you see the cars, you see the money, but the price that you really have to pay to become a professional, you really don't learn until you get into that training camp. And it was an eye opener for me. And, and thankfully I made it to the camp. I got to the summer league. I played pretty well. And but I just realized that the preparation that I thought I had going into that camp, it was nothing like when I got there. But I think that I was able to persevere, get through those first few hard days, and just push myself. And I ended up getting into the greatest shape I've ever been in my life. And it was just an eye-opening moment for me. So at that point, I realized, even though I never played professionally in the NBA, I was able to play professionally over in Europe. But I just realized that the mindset, the physicality, the preparation that you need to become a professional is we're not touching the edge of it until we really get into a camp.
That's a great point. Preparation determines presentation. Mine was with the Lakers, the Showtime, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and again, Coach Lampley and Coach Webb. We're all in the same era right there. And they said Kareem hates rookies. He was 40 years old at the time, and they said you can't make the club in the hot tub, so don't try to fake an injury. So you have to go through the mountain. So just what you said, James. One is the mental preparation is just as important as the physical preparation. So mentally, I had to be dialed in, and I couldn't be afraid. Attack them before they attack you. So I had to be prepared. I had to get a routine. Pros have a routine about eating, about stretching, about extra shots, and also I had to have no fear. I think one of you guys said that God gives you the strength that it has no fear. Who said that one? Put your hand up. Which one of y'all? I think one of the brothers said that one. Andrew, there we go. And so I want to flip this one. Coach, talk about that as a young coach. We did it as a player. How did you find where you belonged as a young coach trying to be successful and get to where you are today with over 600 wins?
Yeah, I mean, it was truly a blessing. My mother and father were both basketball coaches. So, sitting down at the dinner table for us, we're moving salt and pepper shakers, going
Okay.
through offensive, defensive sets. So, my nickname from birth was Little Coach. So
Oh, wow.
I've been around the game, and I've watched, my dad practice at McNamara. I watched my mom practice at Lackey High School. So I've always been in the gym. But the one thing that I realize is, coming from a player to a coach, just because you're a player doesn't mean you can coach. And I had to learn the game again. I had to learn how to translate my gifts and what I knew as a player. But then it was after starting at Riverdale, my first 8 games, we were 0-8. And we went to Kentucky Fried Chicken after one of the games. And my dad, he just looked at me and said, can I speak now? And I said, what are you talking about? I'm upset about the losses and embarrassed, and I'm ready to give up this coaching thing. And, the one thing he said was, he said, you've got to coach. When you're preparing, you don't try to prepare in a game. Prepare in practice.
Oh,
Prepare
I
for
love
every
that one.
situation.
Yep.
You know what I
Yep.
mean? Preparation is key, and you have to prepare for everything, not just what you think. You also have to get inside the other coach's head. So, and scout and watch film and be a student of the game from a different lens, not being on the court, but as an actual coach. So, that went into, really getting me to change the way that I thought. And then it was, about maybe a week or two later, I saw, me starting to practices being a little bit longer, really taking time out, blowing the whistle, not just trying to appease kids and oh, don't worry about it. He'll get it. He's athletic. He's tall. He's fast. No, I mean, kids need to know where to go, what to do. They do this, we do that. So you're really pouring into your team and all of those things. And then the next thing I know, we started doing one game at a time. And that year, my first year at Riverdale Baptist, we were 33-8, Maryland State
Oh, I
champions.
love that one. All right, so it's so much here. We'll give a bullet point. I want to go around again. Andrew, Dominic, Ralph, what's a question you'd have for a pro? Any of you guys? Off mutant, just fire away.
I would say, when did you realize that you were like good enough to make it professionally?
I'll take this one. And Coach, we'll make it a bullet point, so we'll give them time. And Coach, I want you to answer this as a college player and then as a coach, a high-level coach. When did you know you could find success at that as a college player? Because that's important. That's the next step. And then we're going to have coaches. I kind of always knew to answer that one. I'll go make a bullet point. I just always kind of knew I was going to be a pro. I was like you. I had three brothers. One played at Old Dominion University. Another played at Shepherdstown University in West Virginia. And then I played at DeMatha. And I was like Ralph. I said, man, I'm like the chosen one of the family because my brothers fell short on a lot of things. And I just kind of always knew it. What I would do differently is I would fan that gift into a flame. I kind of knew I'd have success, but I would fan that gift into a flame. So I wouldn't take it for granted. Lamone, let me pass that to you.
Yeah, I think, it was always a dream, a desire to play professionally, especially as I grew my height. And I really started to develop, the game later on in high school. Junior and senior year is really when I started to make significant improvements. And I realized I was good enough to compete for a Division I scholarship. And then didn't play much my freshman year. And then my sophomore year, played a little bit more and still had the dream back in the back of my mind that, I wanted to get to the league. That was a desire. But at the same time, I started to realize I had a teacher named Shirley Tompkins, and God bless her, she's passed away, but she was an academic advisor, and she made sure, she's like, you're going to get your degree. You're going to get your degree. And I'm still thinking in my mind, I'm going to play professional. But this lady hammered home all the time, you need to walk away from DePaul with your degree. And that was a real teaching moment for me. So I felt that I still had the opportunity to play at the professional level, but I was prepared when I left DePaul that if I didn't play professionally, I had my education to fall back on. And I think that's something really super important that we need to recognize at an early age, that we don't want to pull all our marbles in one basket thinking, I'm going to be a pro. I don't want to, kick your dream away, but just realize that it may not happen. And in the event that it does not happen, what am I going to do with my life?
Backup plan.
Once that
Backup
game.
plan.
Yeah, backup plan. So I'll stop
Coach,
there.
give us the bullet point. When did you know you could be a Division I play or a college basketball player? And when did you know that this coaching was your knack?
Yeah, I knew that I could play coming out of the WCAC, being a 3-year starter. I mean, I always knew that I could compete. But I think as far as a college player, it wasn't until, I wrapped my head around, instead of me thinking a certain way, I had to be recognized. Somebody else had to acknowledge my gifts, my talents, and then give me an opportunity. And once I was given the opportunity, I didn't look back, and nor did I ever take it for granted. And I just started at that point in time just focusing on doing what I needed to do to play at that level. Once, the coaches gave me an outline, I just honed in on it. As being in the WCAC, that's just what we do. We're given something and then we just do what we need to do to accomplish it. As far as a coach, I felt like the day that I didn't have to read a manual on how to like my job, I feel as though the Lord he changed. He just, my energy changed towards playing to coaching. Having a young player look at you and ask for help. You helping them. I became, I became the person that my father and my mother, were when they were coaches, and the coaches
Yeah.
that helped bring me up. And you know, coaches and teachers are the two most influential people
Oh, I love
in young
that.
people today. So, we spend more time with the kids than a
Yeah.
lot of them actually do at home. So, that responsibility, that was the first time I was actually a team captain. I felt that was the first time that I actually felt like I was responsible enough to be a leader of young people. So, and that's where Slam City actually came from
Man,
as well.
it's so believable. I want to just like, man, give you a bro hug, like, man, dap you up. WMAC, like, man, I'm feeling this. All right, we got about 10 minutes left, guys, and I want to hit this one because again, this program lives out loud. It's not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. So let me start, Dominic, Patrick. Let me start with the Nguyen family. What is what is a verse? What is a verse? What's one of your favorite verses? Dominic, what's one of your favorite verses scripturally, or one that you go to throughout your life?
My favorite would be Matthew 22, verse 14. It's many are called, but few are chosen.
I'm impressed. Patrick, what's a favorite verse, or one that you frequent?
I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Like that one. Talk to me, James. You've got your speaker on. You're muted.
Sorry, it's Hebrews 12, keeping our eyes fixed on Christ, author and perfecter of our faith.
Wow, I'm so impressed with you guys. Ralphie, Ralph, what's yours, man?
Romans 8:31. If God be for us, who can be against us?
Got you. And Andrew?
John 41:10, the part where it's like, fear thou not, for I am the God. I will strengthen thee. I will help thee.
Man. Coach, what's a verse that you have worn out in your life or visited frequently?
Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, focusing on direction, and laying things out to be able to prosper. Just guidance.
I love that one. Lamone, we're getting ready to take a deeper dive before we get off with Mocha and celebrate your wonderful ministry. But what's a verse that you have frequented?
I like Romans 8:28. All things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose.
Man, I love that one. Mine would be off the beaten trail a little bit, guys. I've hit all of them. I hit Jeremiah, I hit Romans, Matthew. I love the word. I'm a word person anyway, so I love speaking the word. Mine would be Ecclesiastes 7:29, and it's almost the KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. But even in the Bible, it says, God made man plain and simple, but we've made ourselves complicated. So I try to keep it really simple. All the times in my life, I'll show you guys something. This Bible, I've got this little thing right here, guys. This thing here, I don't know if you can see it. It talks about wisdom, understanding, self-control, patience, and focus. Can you guys see that one? Give me a thumbs up if y'all can see that. Can you see that?
Yeah.
I wrote this down about a month ago, and every time I had my misplay, like with the Lakers, I wasn't patient. Jerry West said, Adrian, I want you to work on defense and be the next Michael Cooper. And I set the scoring record with 55 points and three. Man, I got booted from the team, but I wasn't patient. When I got in trouble with Maryland, driving a teammate to pick up drugs, I wasn't focused. And I wrote down all the areas in my life that I've come up short. And I'm 58 years old and been in the ministry for 27 years. And it's still a reminder of where there were shortcomings. But if I keep this in mind, I can, as a goal, keep the focus, be patient, have self-control. It'll help me keep my compass pointed north. with the time we have left, guys, and we had so much, I want to do this again. Coach Webb, I want to sit there and chop it up with your guys, man, even do something in person. This has been fantastic. But Lamone, tell us about Mocha. Tell us about what you're doing and what you established in 2015. And we want to celebrate this wonderful ministry. Tell us about what you're doing in Chicago.
So, well, basically Mocha came about organically because I was actually working at DePaul University, my alma mater, working in athletics and actually working on my master's degree. And one of my main focuses was African American men in urban settings. That was like my thesis. And so my professor called me and was like, we need to meet. So I'm thinking, oh, she's not liking the work that I'm turning in, the research and things like that. And actually, she was like, no, she said, I called you because I really want to know, what are you going to do once you graduate with your degree? I was like, I just basically wanted to have a second degree. And she was like, no, I think you really need to start focusing on maybe starting a non-for-profit and working with some of these young men that you've really been, investigating throughout your research. And from that point, Mocha was born. I really, at that point, didn't know where it was going to go, how it was going to go. But I ran into a gentleman, Jewish guy, and at an event at DePaul, he ended up sponsoring Mocha, being one of my main donors, and eventually Mocha became a full-time job for me. So I end up on a leap of faith. I end up leaving DePaul after 12 years working in development, in athletic development, and starting this organization which really focuses on mentoring and teaching life skills to young men of color in urban settings here in Chicago. So been a blessing. It's like you mentioned, it's been around since 2015. So we're actually going into our 6th or 7th year. And I have enjoyed working with the young men. I've learned a lot from them. Sometimes you think, well, I'm the teacher, I'm the mentor, I'm going to instruct them.
Yeah, I want to see that. We got a website. I want to see that real quick if we can put that up to celebrate that. Come up on the screen here. We got some of the best. Here we go. What are we looking at with this one, Lamone?
So basically, our webpage there. Actually, my son, you see right there, he plays for Greenville University. He's a junior, and he was actually part of Mocha.
That's your son?
Yeah.
Well, I'm a tease you and say, thank God he don't look like his daddy. He's a handsome guy like these guys we got on.
That's my oldest.
That's the only joke I got. Go ahead, big man. Finish that one.
That was actually a few weeks ago where he hit the winning shot and we went down for a game. So it was just a great time. But, we try to make an impact here in Chicago. We've done some things academically. We take them on collegiate tours. We do financial literacy. So there's a litany of things that we do with them throughout the year. But most importantly, I think what's been the most impactful part of being with the organization is being able to spend time with the young men and offering them opportunities in education and giving them career paths to, strive to be successful, in life. So that's really the nuts and bolts of the organization. I appreciate being on the program, Adrian. You did a wonderful job, as well as the rest of the staff.
Is there somebody we can get? Is there anyone, if somebody wanted to know more about it, is there a website or so that they can make a donation? Or
mocha-chi.org. That's MOCCHA-CHI.org. So if anybody's interested, it's right there to the left. Yeah, there it is right there. We have a website. And if you want to make a donation, feel free to go to that website and just scroll down to the donate button. But we appreciate the work that God has allowed us to do, working with our young African-American men. And it's just been a blessing. So I'm thankful for that opportunity.
All right, so we're going to go down. We're going to have a speed round real quick. So in the media, you got to be able to talk in 10 seconds. So Dominic, I'm going to say, what's one thing you want to talk to your classmates? If they don't remember anything else with Christmas and how the year's going, what's one bullet point you want to leave in 10 seconds? What's one thing you want to encourage your teammates or other young people to do or to think about? We're going to go down, speed round. Starting with you, Dominic. Everybody take take it off mute.
Just to stay positive and believe in God.
Amen. Stay positive, believe in God. Patrick, your turn. What do you want to say to young people?
Trust in others and always listen to those in authority.
Love that one. Thank you. Big brother Andrew.
Just trust your teammates, trust in God, and you can overcome anything.
I believe that one. Ralphie Ralph, the smiling angel.
Put God first and stay happy, humble, and humble.
Got it. James, hit me. Give me a nugget.
I say just control what you can control. Do what you can. Right now, a lot of COVID, just control what you control.
Love that one. Coach Webb, give us a bullet point in 10 seconds.
Keep the Lord in the midst of everything that you do every day.
Got it. And then the big fella, 7 feet, fantastic. Mocha, give us something in 10 seconds. What would you say to our audience?
I would say the reason for the season is Christ, and enjoy your holidays, enjoy your loved ones, enjoy your family. Adrian, I've really enjoyed this chat, Coach Walter, as well as the young men, and hopefully we can do something bigger and better with this. Adrian, you at ESPN, putting a plug in there, but I love to try to get us on. You know, it doesn't have to be about Mocha or anything, but just have young men on to talk about what some of the things that they face growing up as a student athlete. I think it would be huge. I've really enjoyed my time here tonight.
We're going to do that again. Man, I'm so thankful. We got to sign off. That was perfect. You guys are made for TV. Pulled it off in 10 seconds. Let me finish this by saying on behalf of BCI, I want to thank each of the Slam City players. Man, I love them all. My goodness. Coach Walt, my homeboy, Walter Webb, my other new homeboy, Lamone Lampley, the big fella, for being a part of tonight's event. And those of you watching in the viewing audience as well, to watch an archive of CSL event, go to bciedge.org. Special thank for collaborating with BCI. On behalf of BCI, we thank everyone. Be sure to follow BCI on Facebook and Twitter, and for information for the next CSL event hosted by one of my guys that I look up to, Clark Kellogg. Boy, that is going to be great. The next event is Tuesday, January 18th from 9 to 10 p.m. Hey, guys, Merry Christmas. Have a great night, and let's do it again. God bless you, everybody.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.